It's in you. You possess the power.
Stress is inevitable. It means we care.
Just go hard.
Alex Witt.
I need some motivation. Every day I try a little harder, but my dedication. Keep my head way, way above the water. Priding myself when I yell at the wall. Begging to run, but I needed to crawl. I see the finish line up ahead, trying to get traction from all of this tread. I am a king.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast that helps you be the leader. I'm Jeramiah Solven, and I'm your host. And if this is your first time listening, this is a podcast that's designed to help you out with a few things: leadership, goal setting, achievement, mindset, fitness, high performance, all the tools, strategies, and tactics that you need to succeed. And not just you, but to bring your team along with you. And I'm excited for today's episode. I got an awesome guest, and I love him because we're cut from the same cloths in a lot of ways, but we both actually started off our adult lives really in the military. And I think it's really cool when you come into the military as a junior soldier, a young buck, and then you end up getting your foundation under you, and then you start to achieve, and then you just keep doing that over and over and over again in life. And it becomes very, very inspiring for the people behind you. And I'm excited to bring him in because I know we have a lot of military listeners. We got a lot of people that respect the military. And not only that, but we have a lot of people that are just hungry for absolute success. So today's guest is going to be an awesome one for everybody to sit back, take notes, listen. Like I mentioned, he's a veteran. He served in the Navy for 4 years, and he did a tour over in Iraq. He's an entrepreneur, and he helped grow. One of his first things that he did is he helped grow a logistics startup to 270 employees and $300 million in revenue. Not too bad. He's also the CEO of Battle Bars, which are healthy nutrition bars. They're protein bars. They aren't full of junk and all the sugar and bullshit that you see out there in the marketplace. Those are more like candy bars. Okay. So he's also the founder of of a fitness business called 10-40-10. And this is an awesome opportunity for a lot of veterans. If you ever thought about opening up your own gym, he helps facilitate affordable franchises and blueprints for people that want to do that for veterans. But beyond the business, beyond the entrepreneurship and the military, this is just an awesome individual that I see him. He has a passion for fitness and nutrition, and he's a servant leader. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Alex Witt.
Man, that's quite the introduction. I feel like I owe you something there, man. That was nice. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you can toss me a couple of bucks afterwards. Nah, I'm playing.
Battle bars. I'll throw you some battle bars.
Yeah, throw me some battle bars. No, man, it's great to have you on here. Like I said, I meant every word that I said, and I'm really excited to dive into your story, projects that you're working on, and then uncover some key lessons for the audience. And as I mentioned before we jumped on the agenda, like what I want to get into is, keys to success. We want to talk a little bit about that. We want to talk about leadership because you've gone, essentially from the bottom to the top in leadership in some regards, right? And also your time in service. Those would be the key things I think a lot of people can relate to that will make them better humans, because that's our goal here, really. So you on board, huh?
Hell yeah, man. This is quite, everything you just said is quite literally what we're going to talk about. Is quite literally what I based my entire career and my focus for the rest of my life on. Is trying to make a better community, trying to make better people, trying to make better Americans, have some more pride in where the fuck we live,
Yeah. Well, I kind of did a 30,000 foot overview of what you're currently doing now, but could you talk a little bit about some of the passion projects that you have and where your enthusiasm and energy is going today?
Yeah. So right now, the core thing of what we have is, of course, Battle Bars, Battle Bars, and then 10-40-10 fitness, like we discussed. But, when similar to your listeners, to you, when I was overseas, everyone was choking down protein bars and Cliff bars and all these other, and of course MREs, but they're choking down these bars, and these things just end up sitting in your stomach. And I'm like, there's got to be something out there that's better than this, but there really isn't. And then you go and find these other products like your Gatorade bars that are loaded with 50 grams of sugar. And my kids are eating that shit. My kids are getting older and they're athletes, and other people's kids are eating that shit. And then you get to realize that everyone overseas is kind of laughing at us. I'm just laughing at it like the fat, lazy Americans. And this is not who we are. And it pisses me off, So Battle Bars, Battle Bars, our goal for the long term is to create a trusted brand and trusted products that every single product we make will never be artificial and will always be delicious. So think of our bars, we'll always like these, any bar you taste now is like a Rice Krispie treat, but for adults, gluten-free, no artificial garbage. But on top of that, we have a great mission behind that, is to support our charity, which is Operation Enduring Warrior. And we just became the title sponsor for the Savage Race. And the Savage Race, similar to like your Spartan races, things like that, but Savage is on the up and up, man. Some pretty cool stuff. But dude, you take some of these guys and girls who have missing their legs or missing their arms, and they're more importantly, mentally, they're fucked up. And it's hard for someone who has a lot of pride to say they're mentally fucked up. I think we've all experienced that, right? And these guys and girls, you watch them come to these races that we support, that we pay for their travel and lodging to go do. And so whenever someone buys a bar, it quite literally supports that. Dude, but they go to these races and they're like, they don't speak, they're quiet, they're humbled. They finish these things, they're getting carried through with wheelchairs, they're pumping through, they're working together as a team. Man, these guys and girls they're like an open book. They're talking to us, everyone, they're excited. They're talking about their past history, what they want to do in life, just from one experience. And to me, that's what it's all about. There's no amount of money you could ever pay me could ever exceed the value that brings,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're a man that chases your passion. You chase fulfillment, and you could, if you look at your pedigree, you look at your achievements, you really could point in any direction and accomplish anything. But what does Tony Robbins say? He says, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And I think that you've done an excellent job of figuring out what fulfills you the most and making that your mission in life. And you're changing people's lives. And I know a lot of veterans, a lot of entrepreneurs out there, everybody out there that's into fitness and health is really sick and tired of being sold bullshit. Yeah. And so I think you're doing you're doing us all not just a favor, but it's a need in society. So really truly appreciate your work.
Appreciate that.
I want to kick this off with a random question. This is if for the listener right now, if you didn't hear it, Alex has had numerous chapters where he's proven that he's consistently driven and he strives towards achievement. And Alex, this is absolutely true about you. And I want to kick this off by getting clear about, whether or not, have you always been as driven as you are today? I mean, you helped build a $300 million company, and then you got multiple companies you got going on right now. You're a family man. You got your hands in a lot of places. I know you're a damn workhorse, and I've been around a lot of workhorses, man, and you are a workhorse. So
a blessing and a curse, man. Blessing and a curse.
Have you always been like that? And where does your passion and drive come from?
I think it comes from my old man. When I was growing up, until I was in fucking 7th grade, dude, my brother and sister and I shared a bed growing up. But it's crazy is that like doing that, I thought that was normal until like 7th grade. Like that's just what we did. My parents slept on a futon. I slept in a room. But then one day I go to my buddy's house and I'm allowed to have a sleepover there. So I go in like 6th grade or something like that. So whatever. I just sleep over with buddies, and he lives in this fucking huge house, huge neighborhood. And I'm like, yo, man, you live here? You live here? Like, you have a basement. You're rollerblading in your basement. You have a pool. And he's like, yeah, man. I'm like, what? And so I at the time, which it probably sucked because I came home to my parents and I was like kind of disappointed, but not disappointed necessarily. I was more like, why do they have this and we don't?
Yeah. Feeling of lack.
I didn't understand it, but for me in my head, that triggered me in my head. And I was like, yo, I'm going to fucking kill myself to give everything I got to get whatever I want. I don't want handouts. I don't want shit from anyone. I don't want people to give me anything. My dad worked his ass off. We would get up, dude. My parents would wake us up every day at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. We would go to my grandparents' house, which is like a 15-minute drive from our house, right? This is as a kid, like literally from as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Drop us off at my grandparents' house, sit there for like 30 minutes, then go walk to the bus stop, which is like about a half-mile like walk to the bus stop, and then sit at the bus stop, get on the bus, and then come back, do the exact same thing. My parents would pick us up at like 7:30 at night because they both worked, get back and do it all over again. I thought that was normal. I thought this is what you did. When everyone else was like, yeah, my mom drives me to school. We go and get fast food, get McDonald's, Burger King, get all this shit after school. I didn't have any of that. It wasn't it. If I got back to my grandparents' house, it's like, my grandpa's like, yo, go clean this shit up. Go clean up the garage. Go clean up outside. Do your homework. He's like, that's just what he did. My grandpa worked like 2 jobs for like 60 years of his life to support his family. And you do whatever it takes. And he built his house with his bare hands. And I see that shit. So I think that resonated with me, is to see like the work. And my family's kind of old school. You know, you get home, you take care of your family no matter what. You do whatever it takes to take care of your family. You don't ask them to do anything other than just to be happy and live their life and support you. That's it. You know, so I think it came from, my father's work ethic, but overall, just my overall family, man. You know,
Do you think somebody can cultivate that at a later age if they weren't taught it early on?
100%. It's all here and in between the ears. You know, you can get motivated by people like yourself. You can get motivated by seeing what people have. But like, I think when you look at it and you look at possessions and you feel like you look at like guys who are driving around in their fucking Lamborghinis or their yachts, you can be jealous of that, or you can say, fuck that, man. I'm not jealous. I'm going to go fucking get it myself. And it's way more fulfilling to go get something and earn it than it is to just get it, you know, or to drive around with someone who gets it for you. It's just not as fun, man. You know, like when I was a kid, when I was like 16, my dad lost his job. It was a big deal because my dad was like, he's God to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he lost his job, and he was out of work for like a year and a half. And I was sitting there as a kid working at a car wash while going to school. And every dollar I had would go to my mom to go pay for stuff, you know? So I couldn't even get my license because I was a shitty student and I couldn't afford to go to like this driver's ed school. And so, because all my money was going towards paying our mortgage. But my parents kept me sheltered from that. I didn't realize, like, I was playing on the baseball team. I was playing summer leagues. My parents couldn't even afford it. I went to a Catholic school growing up. My parents couldn't even afford it. They had to ask other parents to help them pay for my school. And they didn't tell me that stuff. That takes balls, man, as an adult, to ask another adult to help you pay for your kids. That takes fucking balls, man. And
so a lot of your work ethic came from learned behavior. It came from knowing what you don't want in life and then putting a plan into place to go out and get it. I think, and I can relate to that a lot. You know, when I grew up, I grew up low income too. And if somebody that was wealthy drove into town, it was like, oh, he's a rich asshole. Like that, the jealousy would come out and people would just start blaming him. And I always looked at that even as a kid. And I was like, is he really a rich asshole? Or do he just have something that we can't have right now? And we're just, we have some animosity. And I think that a lot of people get stuck in that mind trap and they see people succeeding. It doesn't matter if it's wealth. It could be in their career. They could be seeing somebody doing better inside their same profession, or it could be somewhere in sport. You know, it doesn't matter what industry it's in. It's, looking through the world around you through the lens of, if one man can do it, another man can, instead of animosity and jealousy, which essentially keeps you where you're at and keeps you stagnant.
100%. I mean, I'll give you a great example, not to go too far based, but like so when I got out of the military, my first job that we raised, not first job, but my first real job that we ended up getting up to $300 million. I mean, I had no plans. I didn't, like, it was a logistics company. I had no fucking clue. No clue what logistics even was. I just, sure, pays me a job. I'll go be a firefighter, cop. And like, if you know, like that process to be a firefighter or a cop, it's like kind of an arduous process. It takes time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so like, I was like, yeah, I'll get this job, bide my time. But then like 3 months in, I was like, holy fuck, man, we can really start making some serious money doing this. There's a market. This market's never going away. It's never. Our supply chain's always going to be fucked up. And there's always going to be a need, no matter how bad things are, no matter how bad the market is, no matter what's going on, people still need to get their product shipped to them before Amazon. Like, people always, I don't want to say recession proof, but it's pretty damn close to being recession proof. There's always going to be money like churning through and going through the business, right? So for me, the big key to success there was like building the relationships, working your ass off and building trust. So now all these other businesses that we have, they saw me doing the grunt work. They saw me staying hours later when everyone else, these investors that I have partners with, right? For all these, to help fuel these other businesses. All these other guys were like, yo, this guy worked his ass off. He helped build this business up. So if he asked me for money, I know this dude is going to go do something. Yeah, I know he's going to work his ass off, and that investor can sleep well at night knowing that his investment is working with a guy who's going to work his ass off to get something done. Because that's really all you want as an investor, man. you know?
So true. I mean, it's so true. A lot of people chase significance before they chase respect and reputation.
Yeah.
You know, they say, hey, I want to be recognized for X, Y, and Z. I want these investors to come bet on me. And instead of like reaching for that thing, they should be focused on building their reputation, building their work ethic. You do that, you create this ripple around you, and people just become like, you become known. It happens in the military all the time. Like the military is pretty small when you're in certain branches, like especially like the infantry.
Yeah.
If you spend about 3, 4, 5 years in the infantry, next thing you know, everybody that comes through word of mouth, you know something about them from one duty station to the next. It just echoes, and those relationships carry over to the next thing. So if you're a shitbag in Ranger School, like you're the guy that stole somebody's MREs in Ranger School, and then 7 years later you're an entrepreneur and you're in the financial service industry, everybody that served with you is like, nope, they still remember you as the motherfucker from Ranger School that stole people's MREs. So your reputation helps you and hurts you no matter what. And I think a lot more people should spend time on building that reputation, building the respect from others versus chasing that significance, man. And I think
you take the pieces of what you've learned and the good and the bad, but you got to earn your stripes. I mean, that's the oldest trick in the book, man, is like earn your stripes and like go through the shit. I mean, fuck, man, my old gig, dude. We got up to 300 million in revenue, and I was a big part of that. I mean, but that doesn't come with sacrifice. I missed Thanksgiving with my fucking kids. I missed fucking Christmas with my kids. I swear way too much, man. So like, just
no, you're free reign here. It's weapons free here, man. You can say what you want,
bro. I'm like literally. My goal was to stop swearing as much, and I'm like, fuck, man. I keep swearing.
Right after you make the commitment, you're like, fuck.
But it feels so good. Just when you say fuck, man, it's like gives me some more effort. You know?
Well, it's freedom. Like it's freedom. It's freedom with your language. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Nah, dude. I got kind of like sidetracked there, but. No, I mean, like, building all that up, but I miss Thanksgiving. I miss Christmas with my kids. We had our business. I landed a big account, and it was 2 to 3 months worth of work, 2 to 3 months. I like to tell people the story because like building your relationships, I learned something from like the best salesman I've ever met in my life. And I'm going to give him a shout out. This guy's name is Greg Gottsigan. Literally one of the best salesmen I've ever met in my life. This guy's incredibly successful, great dude. And he's like, look, you can go out and go meet people and like stare at them and give them the view that you're expecting something from them, right? They're expecting business from them, or you can expect nothing out of them. Like just strike up a friendship. And if you get business out of it, fucking hell yeah, man.
Yep.
You got business out of it, and then you made a friendship. And if you don't get business out of it, you made a cool friendship, because that's what we're here to do. And friends want to help their friends out more than they want to help out just salesmen. So
true.
Go be a fucking good person. Go be a cool person. So like on that note, check this out. So on this 1 year, we were having a rough year in our logistics business, and we had to go out, and all of our travel to like for salesmen, we canceled it. We're like, no, we can't do it. We're cutting our budget completely. And I was like, look, we need to go to this like one event in Vegas. We need to go. It's expensive, but we need to go. And they're like, nope, we're not doing it. And I was like middle of the road then. I was still growing the business. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to pay for it. But if it does well, if it pays off, we need to talk about the long-term future of what I'm doing for this business. We're like, fair. Okay. So we end up going out in Vegas. We go to this dinner. I randomly meet this guy. I knew no one. I knew absolutely no one. I go and meet this guy from Jersey, actually Greg Gottsigan. I meet him, and he's very outgoing, super cool. And I'm just talking about business. And I'm like, hey man, you want to go to dinner tonight? What are you doing? He's like, yeah, I'll go to dinner. I'm actually going with these guys, but why don't you tag along with us? I'm like, cool. I need all their information. I need to talk to as many people as possible. So I sat down at dinner with these guys. We drank like 5 bottles of wine, ate like so much food. We were doing like random shots. It was ridiculous at this ridiculously nice restaurant in Vegas. My bill was like $4,600. As a 27-year-old kid, I'm like, Jesus, man. Bill between 5 of us. So that it comes out and they go, hey, why don't we do credit card roulette? Are you familiar with that?
I'm not. No. What is it?
Credit card roulette is where you take your credit card. Everyone takes it at the table, takes a credit card, tosses it into your hat, and you're like, the waiter goes like this.
Oh shit!
One
person pays it.
One person pays it. I'm literally, dude. I put my credit card in there, and I was like, just fucking take my credit card out because I know it's getting pulled. I already know it. So sure enough, boom, they pull my card. They all die laughing. But that moment, I'm sitting there like stressing because I wasn't making a ton of money at the time. I was like,
yeah, you spent a month pay in one night.
I'm like, dude, what am I doing here, man? Like, all right. And I played it off like it was no big deal, but I was kind of freaked out and turned it. I was like, yeah, fuck it, whatever, man. Like, hope this is gonna pay off. I'm just gonna keep in touch with these guys. I still get emails to this day about that night, about how funny that was. But those guys, if I didn't go to that dinner, if I didn't pay for me to go to that thing, if I didn't take a leap of faith on myself, I wouldn't have been able to meet those guys. And those guys turned into literally a $20 million in net profit account. $20 million over time. So like for me to go, I mean, not directly, but like indirectly through how we met and who they introduced us to in all different spots, right?
Yeah, the perceived value, what it stacked up to be, exactly.
100%, man. Is like sometimes you got to take a leap of faith and do things that other people aren't willing to take that risk. As an entrepreneur, you got to have some fucking balls, man. You got to sack up and say, I need to go. Sometimes everyone else is running this way. Be like, you know what? That seems easy. But I'm gonna go right when everyone else is going left. And let's see what's over there.
Well, that's what leaders do. You know what I mean? Leaders, when I was in SOF, like we didn't want leaders that just followed the damn doctrine. Like we wanted the leaders that had the sixth principle of patrolling, which is common sense, right? Yeah. And common sense dictates that sometimes I need to zig when other people are zagging, and it makes more sense to go this way instead of like, what's the right thing to do? What do I know I need to do? Bet on myself and go that way. And you have a pattern of doing that. When you joined the military, that was betting on yourself as well. Why did you join the Navy? What was the drive that caused you to do it?
Man, like I was never a school guy. Like it's just not my thing. Like I sucked at it. It's not that I sucked. I was never interested. Like my parents said that I had like ADD, like a motherfucker. Like, I don't know if that's a diagnosable thing, but like, I think if I didn't have ADD, I would be nowhere today. So, I joined because, my grandpa was in the Korean War. He would tell me stories all the time. He taught me how to shoot. He'd teach me how to do some crazy stuff like in the woods. And he was just looked up to him. I was always around him. And he'd tell me stories about how he was in Korea cutting off the heads of snakes and throwing it at people and all this crazy shit. And I'm like, all these old school stories, man, you love to hear from like the true generation of people that really you look up to, right? All right, guys, all right, to look up to. And, I was going to join the Marines. The fucking Marine guy was just way too creepy for me, honestly.
It's funny how small things like that correct you. Like I have a friend in town. He was going to join, what was it? The Navy. And it was kind of like a reverse situation. Went in there and he was supposed to go hand his packet back over to the Navy recruiter, but he wasn't there. The Army guy was. And so he ended up just signing up for the Army that day. It's funny, but so keep going. You end up joining basically out of, inspiration from your grandfather is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, honestly that, and like, dude, I just loved, I've always like been like had a crazy amount of patriotism. I love when people stick up for something. I've always been any team sport, whether it be baseball, basketball. I just love that togetherness. And, and I remember my grandpa always told me that his closest friends he ever had in life was when he was in the Army. So I joined the Navy. There wasn't really a core reason I joined the Navy. Like, I don't know. I guess I wanted to challenge myself a bit. When I got in, like everyone goes in thinking they're going to be a Navy SEAL. They're going to change the world, be John fucking Rambo, right? Everyone thinks that. But then you get into boot camp and like Navy boot camp, or I don't think any boot camp really is that hard. It's more mentally just a pain in the ass. It's just annoying, right?
Yeah.
But you go through that stuff and then you realize if you want to go in and you want to go into like any special operations like you did, right? It's not a 4-year commitment. It's like you get through like your preliminary stuff to like go get a buds package, or you get a preliminary stuff to go do whatever you want to do. And they're like, all right, let's get your re-enlistment papers. And as like an 18-year-old kid, you're like, wait, I'm already committing? What the fuck? I'm already committing. And for me, always had like an entrepreneurial spirit. So I didn't know if I wanted to stay in my whole life. I knew I wanted to serve. I joined right when 9/11 happened. I mean, literally, I was in boot camp when 9/11 happened. So like the sense of motivation, and I'm sure you felt it too, man. The sense of motivation was like through the fucking roof. Like, I mean, through the fucking roof. Everyone wanted to kill something or hurt something or like just say they did their part, you know? And it's hard to do that. I think from a Navy perspective. So after 9/11, I mean, they were recruiting hardcore for people to like go into some type of security services job or some type of what's in the Navy, their version of like the MP, right? Like a master at arms. And they opened it up like crazy. I mean, like people were getting promoted that on bad side of things probably shouldn't have been promoted, right? How many bonehead leaders did you have in the military? Jesus, man.
Yeah.
I have a great story actually. So I'm in the middle of on these oil platforms, and if you're familiar with them in Iraq, we're called the Al Basra oil terminal, and we were doing like pipeline security from there and like living on these platforms. We had this guy who just made chief, which is like E7, right? Just made chief, and the master chief petty officer of the Navy came on board, and something happened that day that kind of got like a little hairy, right? Something happened, and he came up to us with the MCPON on board. Came up to me and a buddy, and they asked us why we did what we did, and we said it just seemed like the logical thing to do, right? It seemed like we just wanted to use logic, and he goes, "Don't use logic. Don't use logic." And we're like, "What the fuck did you say?" I'm like, I looked at my buddy. He's like, "Dude, this guy's gonna get us killed. We're gonna die."
Yeah,
Like,
we're like, you want me to play the dog and pony show? You want me to be politically correct out here? And we're talking about lives and stuff, and you don't have to go into details of what happened, but like I can see where you see that a lot with leadership. You see that a lot with people that they want to do what looks good versus what makes the most sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're like, "You're not there, motherfucker. Like, come on."
Yeah.
It's easy in hindsight. It's 2020, but quick reaction and things like that is a totally different angle.
Yeah, well, it's like one of leadership lessons 101 is trust the guy on the ground. And I think we just, that probably exists everywhere where we say we trust the guy on the ground, but then our actions don't back that up. And it's one of the common mistakes that you see all over in every industry when it comes to leadership. So
that's it, man. I mean, like even in the military, man, like that was like, for that moment, that was like my moment to be like, well, actually my other moment was like hanging out in the middle of the desert and seeing all these Blackwater guys making like 150 to 200. And I'm sitting here making like 35 grand.
Yeah.
Doing the same fucking thing. And I'm like, "Yo, dude, why are you wearing a Yankees hat right now? What the fuck? Like, why are you wearing jeans? What the fuck?"
Well, I think a lot of junior soldiers, this is one of the interesting parts about your personal story is that I think that, you know, the military tries to keep you in the pipeline for as long as they can.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was a company commander, and I was constantly asked about my retention rates and all that type of stuff. And I never wanted to push people towards a career that it wasn't meant for them, that I thought that they could do, that their heart was pulling them somewhere else. So I saw this conflict all the time with the incentive among company commanders to keep people and retain them and not necessarily do what's best for the soldier. And I think that when you're young, you're very impressionable and your guidance is good. So I think that, helping somebody move through the chapters in their life is the right thing to do. And sometimes that is retention. Sometimes it is, hey man, maybe you should do another 3 years and kind of do some more searching and seeking and figure out what you want. But then also I think that it's important that, I don't know why the military doesn't have this, but they don't really encourage. I mean, I know why they don't do it because it's a business, but like, you know, if somebody isn't fit for the military service, we should be happy to help them transition out. And there is programs now that help people like, transition from active to civilian service, which is way better than it was 20 years ago. These programs didn't even exist 20 years ago. And now you have things like an entrepreneur track. Hey, you want to get out? Here's an entrepreneur track. So your story is awesome for a listener right now because it's an unconventional path. You came in, you did 4 years, you realize, hey, I like some of these things. I don't like these other things. I want to earn more. I came in for patriotism. I served my country. And then you decided to change chapters. Was that hard for you to make that decision to get out, or was it easy?
I was excited as shit to get out, man. I was fucking fired up. But at the same time, It's a big change, man. I became really close with a lot of the guys, man, and girls. We still talk to this day. I mean, I don't know if we talked about this in the past, dude, but like the big reason why we sold our previous business, logistics company, a big reason that for my like switch was so my buddy, and this is a crazy fucking story, dude. It gives me chills when I even talk about this. When I got out of the military, said goodbye to everyone, like had a big goodbye party, and it was like pretty fucking sad. But I was so excited to take my terminal leave, man, and do my thing. But my buddy Pat Zamaripa, we served together. We hung out in Virginia Beach together, did everything, right? Had plans. I was like, yo, come do some stuff with me. Move to Chicago. He's a big Texas guy. He's like, nah, I'm going to be a cop. And I'm like, I guess I can go be a cop, but I don't really want to do that. Then I end up getting into logistics, right? So I try to convince this guy. So after we sold our business, right? Or, excuse me, before we sold our business, in 2016, or we sold in 2016, but sold in 2018, excuse me. And then 2016, we I don't know if you remember this, in July was the Dallas police shootings. So there was a sniper that killed 5 officers in one night. He was one of them. It was my boy, my buddy Pat Sam. Crazy. So check this out. This guy gets killed. I hear about it. I'm beside myself, right? I'm losing my mind. Like, I can't do anything. I'm helpless. I'm in Chicago. This is happening in Texas. His girlfriend at the time and mother of his child is texting me, like, he's not answering me. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm like, don't worry, he's good. Dude, I go to bed. I literally went to bed not even thinking about it, not thinking anything. I woke up to a text from his wife saying he's gone. And I was like fucking frozen, dude. Frozen. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I can't go fucking just hunt this dude down and fucking kill him. I can't go like beat the shit out of him. My kids are right there. They're watching me bawl my eyes out. So I'm trying to think of how to like gather myself and my kids. And so I did what anyone else would do, is like, let's raise money for his family. I don't know what else to do. I'll go raise money. So I went and started like a GoFundMe, and because his believe it or not, like people started fake GoFundMe accounts and were raising money for his family, but then pocketing that fucking money, dude.
Bullshit.
People are crazy. So his girlfriend asked me, like, can you do it? I know you trust it. I'm like, yeah, of course. So I did it. I ended up going on Fox News to promote it. We raised, in a 5-minute interview on Fox and Friends, 5 minutes, we raised like $220,000. And like,
wow,
that was my moment to be like, yo, I need to stop what I'm doing and go do something where we can get in front of people and tell people stories and like do some cool shit. And end up like the week that I was buried, it was national news. It was a big deal. I mean, the week that I was burying him, we were supposed to be at a Cubs versus Rangers game in Chicago. Instead, I was fucking burying this guy. So check this out. So full circle, after all this, man, my partner, Ian, he's an Army guy like you, like a combat engineer, great dude. I think he's still in, actually. He's an 03 in the reserves now. But I'm telling the story, and he goes, you know what, dude? He just told me this a couple of years ago. He goes, I didn't tell you this. I meant to, but I didn't want to like bring it up. But the guy who killed those 5 officers was an Army guy under my business partner, Ian.
Oh, no shit.
Ian kicked this guy out of the military.
Oh, fuck.
How crazy is that, dude? That tells me like I'm on the path like I'm supposed to be on, right? Like this guy that I'm like, every time you order a fucking battle bar, you see something about my buddy Pat Zamaripa. You look on our website and look at our heroes, you see his name somewhere, right? Talking about it. You go into our gym, every gym that I own here, you see his name on the Zam wall. You see his name. We have stations dedicated to his name, just his name alone, right? So that's my commitment. Like he always wanted to be like Hollywood, so his name's always in the fucking lights for me and everyone around him. And this dude that killed him is my business partner in my main majority owned business. He kicked him out.
What are the odds, man? What is that? this is I don't believe anything happens by coincidence. I think that it's all alignment, it's all energy, it's all tied together. And I want to say thanks for sharing the story, because it just puts that much purpose behind the work that you're doing. And I was already behind you. I was already supporting you. Now it's 10x, 100x that. Now I'm like, how do I help? How do I serve? How do I help amplify what we're doing here? Because this is not just a company. This is a purpose-driven mission that's carrying somebody's legacy through time, man. I truly appreciate you sharing that with everybody, because a lot of people go through trauma. A lot of people go through hard times. And I think that when that happens, you have a choice. You figure out a way to either dwell on it and it buries you, right? Or you figure out a way to turn it into something productive and make something out of it and do something with it. And it sounds like you've done that.
Yeah.
And
it's not easy, man. You could sit here and tuck your fucking tail in between your legs, feel fucking sorry for yourself, or you can get the fuck up and go do something. Like I have no patience in my life anymore for people who just like keep talking about quitting. Like I just don't have patience for that anymore. Like as I've gotten older, like I have sympathy. I want to talk to you once. You want to talk with me? I talk to a lot of people, dude. And like, if I talk to you once, I'm here. I want, my ears are open, man. My eyes, I'll look you right in the eye and let's have a great conversation. Let's fucking get through this shit together. I'll wake you up at 4 a.m. to come fucking join me in the gym, right? I'll take you to some of these races and you come with me. But if you don't want to take that, if you want to like stop and complain and have your downtime, I have no patience for that. If you want to complain about how life is so tough, our life is not fucking hard. We won the fucking lottery being Americans. Yeah. We literally won the life lottery. Like, what is the hardest day we've had? Your Starbucks was cold. Like,
I know.
Like your 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhome you're not satisfied with because you're not a fucking dude.
Yeah. I mean, my electricity flickered today or something. Like somebody's like, yeah, my internet went out and I can't like throw their hands up, Dude,
I think that gives you, that's why military service is so important, or just some type of civil service like the Israelis do. It's so important. It's because you're like, you see that perspective. You saw how people in Iraq lived. It's a disaster. I was never in Afghanistan, but like similar, right? Like you look at how some of these people live and you're like, how the fuck do they live like this?
Yeah.
I could never imagine, like no running water anywhere.
It's amazing what perspective can do. And if we're pulling perspective out of your situation, you've turned something that's very, very painful into something that gives you passion, right? And you put your friend's name up on the wall, you write Hollywood places, all these things to keep you connected to that passion. I think that's huge. I think if a listener is looking for practical, actionable stuff, it's finding a way to turn that pain into passion and keep it at the front of them. So, for yourself, what are some things that you do? You mentioned you put up his name, you stay constantly connected to your friend, but when you see his name, what does that do for you internally? What's the message that you're saying to yourself, and what is it doing to the fire inside of you?
Oh, dude, man. We have a barbell downstairs with his name on it. So I only live with that barbell. I stare at his name, like literally, like I'm not going to quit, because this dude would be, although he didn't really want to work out as much. He liked his Mexican beer, but this dude was just, I don't know. I think in my head, I'm like, if I tell people I'm going to do something, and I think that like manifesting things is important. So like you, I think that you're really good at doing that. I think that by telling people this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold myself accountable, and I fucking make shirts that literally say integrity on them above our logo. They say integrity. And if you say you're going to do something, in my family, how I was raised, or people in our business that work with us, if you say you're going to do something, you do it. You work your ass off. You do whatever it takes. So for me, I tell everyone we're going to be $100 million nutrition business. We're going to be $100 million company. I don't give a fuck what I have to do. I'll be $100 million company. And if that, for me, if I can go and do something cool for Pat's family when that happens, if I can help them with a passion project that helps his kids out, man, I think I'm pretty cool. But the crazy part is that it's not just it's Pat. There's a ton of guys and girls that are, you start to learn about it. I have a bunch of SEAL team buddies that holy shit, man, the amount of like stuff that's going on in their brains that people just aren't talking about. It's wild,
Absolutely, man.
There's a company you should check out. I see you post about this stuff, Vets Solutions. You should check them out. They're doing a lot of cool stuff like psychedelics and a lot of cool stuff to help, looking for ways to help people with TBI, TBIs, like traumatic brain injuries. And like you hear about all the guys who are breachers in the army or in the military in general. And those guys are like the shocks that goes into the brain that you don't even realize. I mean, this shirt that I'm wearing right now we did a workout for this guy, David Metcalf. This guy's a 20+ year Navy SEAL who killed himself. And this dude had like 20 after they did he said, something is wrong with me. Something is wrong. Like I'm feeling this in my brain. No one's listening to me. And he ended up killing himself over it. But he did it while also leading down like a ton of homework that he did on saying why he's doing this. And I'm not ever saying you should ever give up, but I'm saying if there's any light at the end of this tunnel about what this guy did, was that he created some crazy amount of awareness that said, this is what's happening in my brain and you need to take it fucking seriously. And they found he had 20+ concussions. I mean, severe CTE, like all this stuff. And there's just a lot of work that needs to be done that can't be done by just like talking about it, amongst ourselves. It's got to be on a big stage. And that's why like battle bars, and that's why 10-40-10, that's why it will always be like that. We got to build it. I look at it like I have to. I don't have a choice. Not about money. But
it's saving lives. It's saving lives. You mentioned before doing events. When you do an event and you go through something physically challenging, it doesn't matter if it's your first 5K or your 10th 50K, your 100-miler, a cage fight. It doesn't matter what it is. Afterwards, you open up to people, man. You especially if you do a physical activity where you bond with people. I think what I'm picking up on in your story is a lot of the work that you do. I mean, it's around health and fitness and nutrition, but the purpose is to save lives, and you're using fitness, you're using nutrition as a way to get people to take better care of themselves. And then in a way, if there's, they're dealing with something related to trauma, you can almost use that platform to help facilitate their growth, to saving them as well. And that's all tied to your purpose. At least that's how I see it.
That's exactly it. I mean, we all, like, at the end of the day, like the clock's ticking. I don't care how much fucking money any of us has or whatever. The clock's ticking, man. I mean, we choose our conversations that we have with people. We choose them wisely and how we want to spend our time. And I feel like talking with you is productive, right? Like I feel like you're a guy that wants to get shit done. Yeah. And that if you put brains together, that two guys want to get shit done, there's some cool magic that's going to happen at some point, So I think that for me, I just, you got to have some kind of purpose for what you're doing. It can't just be money hungry. But look, make no mistake, I want to make a fuckload of money. I've done all right in my life. I want to make a fuckload of money. I
think it's perfect to say that too. A lot of people hide. They don't want to, if you confess it, be out there. Just like you said earlier about calling your shots, say what you want to do, then go pull it out of your ass and figure out a way to do it. Right.
What did he say in Wolf of Wall Street? It's one of my favorite quotes when he's like, I've been a rich man and I've been a poor man, and I choose rich every day of the week. Because it's like, look, man, like you can do so much good. The more money you make, it's true, you can make way more money. Yeah. I mean, when we sold our last business, I got into investing like crazy. I was investing into real estate. I started investing into private equity deals. I mean, private equity deals are by far like investing into businesses like battle bars or 10-40-10. Those are risky. But you look at certain things, right? You look at when you're investing, you look at certain things like I want to do. Does the business have a great operator? Does that business have a great operator? And do you feel like that guy or girl is going to be in it for the long haul? And are they passionate about what they do? Number one. Number two, is the product good? Do they have a good product that is that consumers are going to want? And is it marketable? And two, can you see yourself as an investor using it for the next 5 years? If you feel like you can use that, that's like the golden rule of, I think, Warren Buffett of investing. Like, you invest in the things that you see yourself using for the next 5 to 10 years. Can you use that for the rest of your life? If you think you can use the rest of your life, you should probably put your money into it, because other people probably feel the same way.
Those are great tactics. And, I think that for a lot of people, everybody wants more abundance in life. Doesn't matter if it's money, if it's fitness, if it's family, whatever it is, they're always searching for more of what makes them feel good. And so regardless, you guys could re-record this, listen to those strategies on investing. But at the same time, we just uncovered really what the key is to a richer life. And the key is knowing exactly what the fuck you want. Right. If it's in this example, we're talking about finances, but maybe you're happy with the finances. Maybe you're happy with your house is paid off and whatever. And you actually just want to be closer to your kids or, whatever. And you're too afraid to tell. I don't know. Maybe you're hiding what you actually want. So you got to like say what the fuck you want to do and then go pull it off and not live in this trap of silence essentially. And just be stuck there. I think that's a horrible way to live. It's a, like Henry Thoreau said, it's a life of quiet desperation when you don't say what you want. You know what I mean?
You got to, but manifesting it, man, is so, that's just like what you're saying, right? So like when I was 18, I said to myself, when I'm 25, I'm going to make $100,000 a year. When I'm 30, I'm going to make $250,000 a year. When I'm 35, I'm going to have millions of dollars, at least $1 million in my bank account. And when I'm 42, I want to be done. I don't want to have to work. I don't want to have to work. I want to work because I want to work. I don't want to have to work. If I want to sit back and let my money go gain interest and go have a bunch of assets making interest for me and making money for me and getting my distributions left and right, maybe start a family office. That's my goal. Seriously, man. Like I had that serious mentality that I don't give a fuck what I had to do. And you know what happened, dude? When I did that, I hit every single one of those goals. Every one of those goals. When we sold that business, dude, I remember sitting with my business partner, who's the majority owner, and we're walking around and like talking, and him and I have been through some crazy, crazy shit together. Like for those of you listening, or for you, if you have business partners, holy shit, man. I mean, him and I have almost come to blows like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And I love this guy to death. He's family to me. But him and I have come to blows like a bunch in his office, telling each other to go fuck yourselves, or I'm going to beat your ass, or like, fuck you, you're fired, I quit. All that. We've run through it all. And this guy, we just sold the business and made a big chunk of change. Man, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm like waiting for like the wires to kind of go through. So I'm sitting on my phone and I'm like this. We're sitting. So he goes, come with me. We hop in his car, takes me over to this Ferrari dealership. And we just like are walking around. He's like, what should we get? What should we go get? And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I was thinking, I thought he was going to buy a new one. I was like, what are you doing, dude? Jesus, don't buy. You can't put a Ferrari in my middle-class house, man. It's not going to fly really well there. But no, we were just like talking about stuff. And then we sat down, we went to this restaurant that we went and sat and had a bourbon together, and looked at me and he goes, yo, check your bank account. And I just went, I literally like put my hands on my head. I cried. In the middle of a bar, I cried, I hugged him. I was like, fuck, man. And his wire was significantly more, we'll just say that. But man, I was, you know how old I was when I did that? That was 3 fucking years ago, dude. I was 35 years old. That was my goal. That was a big milestone for me. So I'm like, all right, next up, you got to grind away. You got to start.
You have to say it. You have to say it out loud. You have to commit to it. And then you have to put your back up against the wall to pull it off. And I think a lot of people get stuck. If you can't say what you want to do, you're probably not going to do it.
That's it. How many successful people do you know, successful, talk shit about people below them?
Oh, none.
No one does.
But the other way happens all the time.
Always, man. So like people are so worried about these people are saying bad things about me. And I'm like, yeah, man, if you're going to be successful, people are going to hate you. They're going to fucking hate you.
Yeah.
People hate me. I don't know why. Some people just don't like me. I don't know why. I'm sure people don't like you. I don't know why.
Well, we'd be wrong to assume that everybody likes us. That's one of the biggest leadership inaccuracies or fallacies is that you're in position, everybody likes you. It's not necessarily the case.
No, I mean, like, look at the president of the United States, man. I mean, how many different presidents have we had? Where like, at the end of the day, these are still people, right? They still breathe. Maybe not our current presidency. I don't know what he's doing, what's going on there. I mean, no, but I mean, like sometimes you forget that these are people too. And like, there's a reason why it's literally always 50-50. There's just always 50-50, man. Like people are going to hate you no matter what for the same reason that people like you. That's it.
The quicker you realize that, the quicker you can advance. I want to hit you up on some leadership because, we talked about your time in service. Well, we talked about your childhood, what inspired you at a young age, where you kind of come from. We talked about your military service, what inspired you to join, what inspired you to leave. and you became an entrepreneur, you built some great companies, and along the way, you've led a ton of people. It is, if we just look at the logistics company, it grew to 270 employees. And I don't know what your scope is right now with personnel, but you've got a lot of leadership experience. And I imagine that you've grown a ton since the beginning, since a junior soldier or junior, Taylor. Sorry. Dang it. I was sorry. Apparently, obviously I got more Army buddies than Navy buddies.
Just less. I'm just sounding, every time you say sailor, I feel less masculine. I don't know what it is.
Just say it. Say sailor. Say it.
Say sailor.
All right. Well, but here's what I'm saying is, you come from a junior guy in the service, right? And then you work your way up. What are some things that you learned about leadership along the way?
Man, I think leadership is, wow. I think about that all the time. And I like to think I'm a good leader with our crew. I like to think that. But I'll tell you what, I mean, for 2 years, I didn't make a paycheck here. I just started paying myself. For 2 fucking years, I paid everyone else. I've paid everyone. And I'd go to bed, I swear to you, man, I go to bed every night thinking about how I can make everyone in our business happy, from our gym members to our customers to our employees. I think about like how can I make their life better and make them happy about where they're at. And then I wake up and I think about the exact same fucking thing. The exact same thing, man. And like think about with my kids, I think being a good leader is, one, integrity. If you look yourself in the mirror and what you do when no one else is looking, and maybe that's a cliche statement, but what you do when no one else is looking, that's what makes the leader. When you're, it's like you can go tell people and get all I don't know, David Goggins about shit, and which I love, big fan of David Goggins, obviously, but like,
but try to rally them. Yeah,
you can get up and tell everyone, hey, I'm getting up at 4. Fuck you, I'm getting up at 4. Or you can just get up at 4 and let people see what you're doing, and don't do it for anyone but yourself. And if people see that, people are going to eventually notice that, and they're going to eventually be like, Jesus, man, that guy, it's a fucking machine. Like that's what he wants. That's what I want to be. But I think that like being a good leader is being a good listener as well. Is like, I feel like a lot of leaders sit back and they, like, instead of listening, they kind of wait to speak. And that's not good. That's not good to just wait and speak. You got to hear what your people want. And also my dad taught me this as a leader, is that he always says, don't ever let anyone fuck with the mothership. The mothership is your business. And don't ever let any relationship or anything fuck with the mothership. Because if you let people fuck with the mothership, it's going to go down. So like, if you have an employee, like, man, if I had to let go of someone, I don't ever want to fucking fire anyone. I hate it. It's the worst. I'd rather find another position, because if you show yourself that you have passion and you want to work your ass off, we'll figure something out, right? But like, if you're just lazy, I don't have no time for that shit, right? But for me, if one person fucks with the mothership or fucks with your vision, I've sacrificed a lot for 104010. I've sacrificed a lot for battle bars. And if one person wants to fuck with that, it may not hurt right away. And there may be like some backlash. But at the end of the day, like, the mothership is intact. Yeah. You protect that mothership with everything you have. Because if you don't, if you have to let one person go, it sucks, it hurts. People are going to be upset about it. But if you don't let them go and you have to shut down your business or fire everyone, that's going to suck a lot more.
I love that. I love taking care of the mothership analogy, because just like you mentioned earlier, when you went 2 years without taking a paycheck, that's what you're doing. You're protecting the mothership. Let me take care of everybody that's on this platform that we're on. Take care of them, and then it'll stay protected. It'll grow. And I think that's doesn't matter if the person has a business or if they're running a platoon in the military or whatever. It's protecting the mothership at all costs. Now, with that, I have and I coach a lot of these people too, that they're servant leaders to their core. They're helpers. They want to do good. And what I find is that when you're that type of leader and you care so much, usually the weakness is taking care of ourselves, right? It's taking care of the person that's driving the ship or whatever it is. So for yourself, for somebody that has the engine that you have for your work ethic, that can work 20+ hour days, and you believe in serving the people around you, what do you do to kind of pull yourself back and consolidate, reorganize, so that you're full to take care of everybody around you?
I think that fitness is a big thing for me. It kind of like level sets me, I'm like, it used to be working out to go get some girls and look good and whatever. Right.
Yeah.
But,
it's good to get you started.
Now I beat the shit out of myself safely, of course, but for an hour, like right before this podcast, we just did a workout in our gym and I went like hard as fuck. And I was I didn't do it for anyone other than myself. And I knew that people were watching because I'm the owner of this place. And I knew they had expectations of me, but like for me, man, that's a way that I take care of myself and to make sure that I'm ready for others. Another one is my kids. I mean, you think that you got all the answers, go be a dad. And you have no fucking answers for anything. And they will humble you right down to your core, man. I'll tell you what, as busy as I am, no matter what is going on in my life, no matter how many businesses I have, no matter how many phone calls I have, I will never miss my fucking kids' games. I will never miss any of their things at school. Not a fucking chance. There's nothing there's no amount of money you could ever pay me. You could tell me that I had to miss my next kids' games for the next month and I'll give you $1 billion. I would fucking light that on fire before I would do that. Your kids you got to have a why. We keep talking about purpose and like mission and manifesting things, but you got to have a why. When I have a 10-year-old girl who looks at me and tells me she wants to start a website for like the shirt designs that she's helping make. Yeah. I'm going to help her start a fucking website. When my son tells me he wants to play football and play, even though it's for the Packers for some ungodly reason, he wants to play for the Packers. But when my son tells me he wants to play football, man, I go sit down and I talk to him about this stuff and make time for them. That's the stuff that when I'm done with those, when I'm done spending quality time, I put my phone down. I want to talk to anyone. When you do that, you go back, it makes everything so much easier. It just makes every conversation so much clearer because you're not like, I don't have a purpose. Like, dude, you and me, or I don't have a outside ulterior motive. Like you and me talking, man, I'm talking to you with, I don't care if there's 10,000 people listening right now or if there's just you and me talking, man. Like for me, I have no ulterior motive other than like, this guy's a good dude. I want to talk to this guy and I think that he's going to be successful someday. And I hope that I can be a little bit of a part of it. Because that's like when we go back to my buddies. Remember that buddy I was telling you that conversation is like, look, to be the best salesman, you just got to be a good person. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out in business, then you just created a great friendship and you made someone else's life better.
And that's true about leadership too, just be a good person. But what I love, the question about, filling yourself back up, filling your cup back up, and where you take care of a lot of people. And so how do you get yourself back to center? Training, I think, is something everybody can relate to. And family, I think, needs to be just reinforced here for a second, because a lot of business owners, they look at their families like maybe it's a crutch or a chore. And the reality is when you spend time with them, it's going to fill you back up. And so if you want to be better at work, it's not do more work. It's actually break away from work, go spend some time with your family, and you're going to come back stronger, faster, smarter, essentially.
Dude, I cannot express that enough. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I'll tell you what, dude, it has not been an easy year. I mean, like I started a fitness business and a nutrition business right before COVID. I mean, gyms, I started this gym and it came out the gates hot and heavy and then shut down literally like a month later. Shut down completely. No money coming through the door. Finding ways to survive. A nutrition bar business was, I'm promoting a protein bar during an election year in 2020, right? Big time, which just started to grow. So all my Facebook and Instagram ads that I'm advertising on, you think that my peasant shit fucking dollars of 15 grand a month or something that I'm using to advertise can compete against Donald Trump and Joe Biden money?
Right.
No fucking way, man. I can't compete. Those guys are spending in governors and all these other all these other politicians are spending millions and millions of dollars on Facebook ads. So my ads, my cost required of a customer just goes through the roof. And like, you got to find other ways to kind of survive. So, I mean, yeah, man, it's during those times, like you sacrifice a lot. And when people are like questioning some of the decisions, or like I stick to my guns because I'm like, yo, dude, I earn the right to stick to my guns. I earn the right to say that I'm going to take this day off. I earn the right. I don't feel bad about it. Because a lot of entrepreneurs, I feel like they feel bad leaving their staff, or they feel bad
Right.
No, you got to leave your staff. You got to. If you don't leave your staff on their own to do their own thing, you're fucked. Like, what are you going to do? You going to be there the rest of your life doing everything for them? No, man, you got to let them be free so you can go and understand your purpose, especially if you have kids. You know, I'm learning this more and more. I mean, these kids grow up so freaking fast, and it's like, dude, my daughter, I was just watching these like videos, not to get too off topic, but like I was just watching these videos. My daughter, and she's like 3 years old, and her and I are talking to each other. And now she's 10, and I'm dropping her off at school, and she's like, "All right, Dad, so you'll pick me up at this time. Cool. Can we go to Target? I got to go get this, and this, and then yeah, if you need help with anything, I can help you like set up the bathroom. I can help you set up this." And I'm like, "Oh, what did you say to me? What the?" Like she's like, "Yeah. Do you mind if I download TikTok?" And I'm like, "Wait, what? What's going on right now? This is ridiculous." But anyway, yeah. So again, not to deviate too much, but like that's it, man. If you want to be a better entrepreneur, like don't forget what you're doing it for. Don't forget it. Like go back to make time for those that are important around you, your friends. You know, like don't forget what they're doing. Check in with your buddies. You know, see how they're doing. Check in.
Yeah, I mean that's the common thread throughout the entire episode here. It's relationships were the common thread. Relationships help in business. They helped accelerate businesses that you've worked on. They've also been the cornerstone in staying tied into your passion, right? Like whether it's the loss of a loved one, it's helped out with that. It's, you know, the relationship you have with your kids, it's staying connected to them as human beings and people that are growing. And through all that, it creates this perspective that life is fragile and we need to take what we want from it and succeed and live with purpose and not live a life of desperation, essentially.
Exactly.
Well, Alex, man, thank you so much for coming in. A couple questions before we close out, just current projects that you're working on. What are some things that you're excited about for the future?
Yeah. So number one, we as Battle Bars, we just launched a deal with the UFC. So we'll be in every UFC gym and throughout the country. We also are the new title sponsor for the Savage Race. So if you go to savagerace.com, check us out. There's a code somewhere. If you go check us out on Instagram, I fucking forgot the code and I'm going to get killed for it, but there's a code in our gram where you can look up and sign and get a discount for your next Savage Race, but you'll see a lot of us there. You can see a lot of our charity guys that'll be there. And that's pretty cool to watch. We just launched a new bar for Battle Bars as well. It's called the Mountie Bar to make fun of our Canadian friends in the North. But it's maple syrup. It's out of freaking control good. I mean, the breakfast bar ever, the best breakfast bar ever in my life, but real ingredients, low sugar, no artificial crap. I mean, feels like you're eating a Rice Krispie treat, but for adults. So there's that. Battle Bars, man, we just raised, completed, literally signed, done everything yesterday of $1 million plus an extra $500,000 in supply chain financing, which is a big deal for us. So we're going to scale our team. We're going to grow. So if you know of any guys or girls in veterans preferred that are looking for a job in a pretty fast growing business that likes to get a little crazy, blow some shit up once in a while, do some cool stuff. Hit me up. Hit up battlebars.com and send me your info.
What about the best place for people to stay connected with you? Is Instagram the best one or something else?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. We're launching. There's actually a pretty funny podcast that we've been talking about launching. It's I'm a big investor into cannabis from before, and it's called Weed Wisdom on Workout Weed and Wisdom on Wednesdays. So like the goal is to do like a nice little workout, get a little high, throw some wisdom on Wednesday with these guys who have all had crazy success. All the guys I was telling you about, the guy that we walked around that Ferrari store.
Yeah.
He's in it. He's a huge cannabis investor, big time, and partaker. But yeah, man, that's another thing that we're kind of putting together. But
when you get that all locked up and it's out, put it on your Instagram. What's your Instagram handle for everybody?
Jesus, I'm such a peasant. What is this? What are they called? It's Witt, so AWITT 33. So give me a follow, and we'll be a little more active on that going forward.
I like that you guys are having so much fun. It's gonna be an entertaining journey to watch, inspiring. It's purpose driven. It's got all the ingredients that people should want to follow and support. And
we got to get you out, man. We got to get you out here to Chicago, bro. Let's get out.
I'll come out. We'll set up a date.
Dude, we'll
Done deal.
we'll cover your flight and hotel, man. We'll come out and hang out with us.
We'll set up a date. I'm committed. I'll down.
I think you'll like our workout too. I mean, this brand I haven't talked about it as much. 10-40-10, bro. We're growing like nuts. I mean, my goal is to have us bigger than F45. I want to compete with the F45s and the Orange Theories of the world, and I want like guys and girls getting out of the military to be like, yo, I don't want to go be a copper firefighter. What if I want to go make some fucking money? And we're going to give every veteran a blueprint to say, you know what? I want to open up a gym, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. We're going to teach you how to do it. We're going to give you everything you need to succeed, right? All the business practices, all the financial backing, all the help. If you need access to funds, we're going to give you great options. And we're going to show you a great workout and how to keep people motivated. Because what is one thing people know in the military? It's building good communities, like building a good rapport and fucking working out.
That's so true. Yeah.
So it's an easy concept. So 10-40-10 Fitness, if you want to look at the website, you go to 104010fitness.com and you can choose to see if you want a location by you when you click on the locations tab.
And appreciate you sharing that with everybody. And I love the roadmap that you laid out. Anything else you want to say to the audience before we close out?
That's it, man. Just keep following this guy. He knows what he's fucking doing. I like what you're doing, Jeremiah. You're the man. Keep it up.
You too, brother. Guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, jam-packed podcast today on all types of subjects: success, family, leadership, even a little bit of balance in there, being purpose-driven, life, death. Definitely one to go back and listen to again. I know I got value out of it, and I'm sure you did too. So if you did, do us a solid, share it with a friend. And as always, put something from today into action. Maybe you have some pain in your life that you can turn into passion. Maybe that can be your switch, but don't just sit there and be the info seeker. Let's do a little bit of action behind it. And that's all that I ask from you to pay it forward. So until next time, be the leader.
I need some motivation. Every day I try a little harder, but my dedication. Keep my head way, way above the water. Priding myself when I yell at the wall. Begging to run, but I needed to crawl. I see the finish line up ahead, trying to get traction from all of this tread. I am a king, I am a queen. I am more than the people can see. I am strong when I'm needing to be. Vulnerability's nothing to me. You can try, but I'm unshakable. My successes is never debatable. I'm chameleon, I'm so interchangeable. Here's to you and all that you are capable.
You gotta go hard, better get it.